All right, let's talk about one of the most incredible growth stories in the SaaS world. Today, we're going to tear down the technical blueprint behind Zapier's success. We're talking about how they built a machine that pulls in over 9 million visitors every single month, all without spending a dime on ads. So yeah, let's get right into it. You know, if you're in SaaS, you know this pain. You're just pouring money into Google Ads, right? Your customer acquisition cost just keeps creeping up, and you feel like you're stuck on this hamster wheel of paid traffic. It's so volatile, it's so expensive. So, what's the alternative? Is there a better way? This right here is the alternative. I mean, look at that number. Zapier went from around 1 million to a jaw-dropping 9 million organic visitors, and they did it in just 3 years. They didn't do it with ads. No, they built a rock-solid foundation on free, massive organic traffic. So the big question we're all asking is, how in the world did they pull that off? So how do you even begin to build a 9 million visitor machine? Well, let's get one thing straight right away. This was not about hiring an army of writers to churn out 100,000 blog posts. I mean, that's just impossible to scale, right? Instead, they engineered this brilliant automated content system, a programmatic SEO engine really, that's built on 3 incredibly smart pillars. And we're about to break down every single one. Okay, that brings us to the very first pillar of their machine, the intent multiplier. Now, this all starts with a really deep understanding of what people are actually searching for. But here's the twist. It's probably not in the way you're thinking. Zapier figured out a way to multiply their opportunities by targeting these super specific needs, but at an absolutely massive scale. Okay, so here's the core insight. You'd think a big, broad term like automation platform would get a ton of searches, right? Well, wrong. It has surprisingly low search volume. The real goldmine, the place where all the traffic is hiding, is in the millions of long-tail combinations. Things like connect Slack to Google Sheets or connect Typeform to Folk CRM. Think about it. Each one of those searches is a real person with a very specific problem who's looking for a solution right now. And that, right there, is the magic behind the concept they built their entire strategy on, the intent multiplier. Because they have a database with over 5,000 apps, the number of possible combinations, well, it just explodes into the millions. It literally creates an almost infinite pool of these super high-intent keywords that they can go after. So how did they actually capture all this intent? They used 2 main types of pages. Tier 1 pages are pretty straightforward. They're a bit broader, targeting searches like Slack Zapier. But Tier 2? That's the real secret sauce. These are the pages for specific pairs, the ones that target users searching for Typeform to Folk CRM. These folks know exactly what they want. They're at the very bottom of the funnel, totally ready to convert. All right, so you've got millions of keywords. The next logical step is just to create a template and pump out pages for all of them, right? Well, not so fast. If you just spin up thousands of pages that are basically identical, that's a one-way ticket to getting slammed by a Google penalty for thin content, pages that offer little to no unique value. To make sure that never happened, every single page they created had to pass something they called the quality gate. So how did they make sure every one of those thousands of pages was actually valuable? They injected them with dynamic data, high-value stuff that nobody else had. We're talking specific step-by-step setup guides, popular workflow templates, actual zaps that people are using, the exact triggers and actions supported for that specific pairing. And this is a big one, even user reviews to build that all-important authority and trust with Google. And look, this isn't just some vague idea of quality. There's a pretty solid rule of thumb here, one that SEO experts will back up. You need at least 40% of the content on a page like this to be unique and dynamic. It has to give the user real, tangible value. Honestly, that 40% is the difference between ranking on page 1 and being completely invisible. Okay, so we've got the keyword strategy down, we've got the quality standard, but how do you actually put it all together and build thousands of pages automatically? That brings us to our third and final pillar, the engine that makes this whole thing run. We're going to call it the technical flywheel. Now, this flywheel is actually pretty simple. It's got 3 key parts. First, and this is by far the most important, is the structured data source. This is Zapier's crown jewel, their unique database of over 5,000 apps with all their triggers, actions, and metadata. Second, you have the template, just a basic wireframe with a bunch of placeholders. And third, you've got the generation engine. That's the script that does the work. It pulls the data, plugs it into the template, and bam, it spits out a unique page. So when you put all three of these pillars together, what you've built isn't just a traffic strategy. No, it's so much more. You've built a competitive moat. You've created a system that is incredibly difficult, maybe even impossible for any of your competitors to just come in and copy. And the results? I mean, they just speak for themselves. Just look at this growth. They went from around 1.2 million monthly visits to over 9 million, from ranking for 150,000 keywords to over 1.3 million. And the best part is, this isn't just fluffy vanity traffic. This is high-intent traffic that plugs directly into their product and fuels their growth. It's incredible. So if you're going to take away one thing, let it be this. The real power in this whole system isn't the template, it's the data. Anyone can copy a page layout, right? But what they can't do is easily replicate a proprietary database of 5,000 apps with all the unique user content and metadata that goes with it. That is the barrier to entry. Okay, so now you're probably wondering, how can I apply this to my business? And look, this isn't just a strategy for giants like Zapier. Any SaaS business, really any business, that has some kind of structured data can use these same principles. So let's walk through a simple 3-step blueprint to get you started. Step 1. Identify 2 core data variables that your product connects. What are they? Is it job titles and companies, cities and venues, maybe features and use cases? Get that clear. Step 2. Define your quality gate. What's the unique data that's going to make up that crucial 40% for you? And step 3, start building that structured data source. I'm telling you, it is the single most valuable asset in this entire strategy. All right, so that's the whole blueprint, soup to nuts. Now, to make sure these key ideas really sink in, we're going to do a quick pop quiz. Let's see what you remember. You ready for this? First question for you. What's the term for that core concept of combining all those apps to create millions of keyword opportunities? That's the intent multiplier. Okay, question number 2. To pass that quality gate and stay on Google's good side, what is that minimum percentage of unique, dynamic data you need on every single page? Yep, that's right, it's 40%. Don't forget that one. And for our final question, in that 3-part technical flywheel we talked about, which component is the most valuable asset? The one that really creates that competitive moat? It's the structured data source. Remember, that proprietary database is everything. And that really brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. Zapier did this with apps. You see real estate sites do it with cities and neighborhoods. Job boards do it with job titles and locations. So the real question isn't just about Zapier anymore. It's about you. What unique proprietary data do you have right now that you can turn into your own organic traffic machine?